All right, we're going to be creating some letters and making them look like forms instead of flat letters that you would normally write. First, you need to be able to write a bubble letter or a letter that has some shape to it. If I wrote my name and I don't know how to write a bubble letter, I'm going to lightly sketch the letters in my name, spread them out, and then I'll do this with a marker so you can see better. I'm going to go around the edges of the pencil lines so that I have an equal space around the line, and this will create my bubble letter. So I draw it in shapes instead of just lines. Once you are done sketching it, you can erase the pencil lines. If you prefer, you could just use some of the stencils that I have on the shelf to trace. All right, so let's just say I would like to write the word, I don't know, art. I'm going to make my letters. It would be easier if you used pointed edges if you're learning how to do this. So if I make my letters using pointed edges whenever I can, maybe I'll make it the word arts so that you can see how a rounded letter works. Okay, so once you have that, somewhere along the edge of the paper, you need to put what's called the vanishing point. So I'm going to put a little dot, a teeny tiny dot, up near the corner of my page. You can just barely see it. Then you're going to be taking the ruler, and we'll start with the tops of all the letters. Wherever a letter changes directions, you're going to be drawing a line. So if you put little dots there on your first try, that might help you remember where you need to draw the line. So I'm going to put little dots on my letters. Now on a rounded letter, you won't really know where it is until you connect it with the ruler. So all of these have to be with a little dot, every place that you have a change in direction of the lines. Now you're not going to draw all of these lines. You're only going to draw the lines that do not cross over the letter. So I'm going to start by placing my ruler along that dot. If I put my pen on the dot, put the ruler up to it, then I push my ruler up till it touches the first edge. I'm going to draw the line all the way up to the end of that dot. Then I'm going to place it on the dot again, move my ruler over till it lines up with the next edge, and draw it. All of the lines will come to the vanishing point from the letter. Now I'll do the top of the R. So I have it on the dot. I have it lined up with the R. I'm going to draw it all the way up. If one of my lines bumps into another letter, I don't draw it. So let's just make sure they're lined up before you make the line. My letter T is going to go right close to where the letter R was. Now here's the first place where I'm not going to have to draw the whole thing. It starts from the R, but as soon as I bump into the T, that will be overlapped by the T, so I do not continue that line. Only the lines that go on the paper, not crossing over a letter, need to be drawn. So I'm going to do, I missed a dot right there. So I'm going to put one right here, and I have to check every place that I would have a line. Now when I do a round letter, like an O or an S or a B, I put my ruler on the dot, then I hold that spot still and I push my ruler up. As soon as it touches the edge of the rounded letter, that is where you would make your line. Same thing on the other side. I'm going to go right across, and it goes to this part of the S. Now here's the other rounded part. So when I come over here, as soon as my line touches the edge, I can draw it up to the mark. I didn't cross the letter, so I'm going to not draw it. Now on the bottom part of the S, I have it on my dot, on my S. I only need this little line where I stop because the S overlaps it. If I were to draw from this part of the S I don't need to draw it at all because that line will be overlapped by the letter. It will cross it. So some of the lines you might not need at all. So I'm going to draw right up from the edge of this S. And I'm going to move it over. I have another spot on the T that I need. I'm going to kind of work my way backwards now. You could do these lines in any order, but it's best to start at the top so that you don't overlap incorrectly. This one is going to stop when I bump into the letter S. Let's move over here. All right. Do I need to draw this one? No. Do I need to draw this one? No. Do I need to draw this one? Yes, I do. Okay, let's do the other side of this R. That one's going to kind of join up with the T because it just happens to line up. I'm going to do this one. It stops when I bump into the T. We're almost there. Finish this letter A. Do I need to draw this one? No. And I have one more at the bottom of the A right here. I do not need to draw that one, but I do need to draw the inside of the A right there, just a little tiny bit. My letters are now complete. They do look like they go on and on and on forever, and you can color it this way if you like, or if you've done this in pencil, you can cut the letters off so that they look like block letters. And the way you do that is you take your ruler. I think I'm going to get a smaller ruler because it's easier to handle. And you line the ruler up with the edge of the letter. Then you push it down a little bit so that it's parallel, and you draw a line to cut off the letter. All of this will get erased. Or you can cut your block letters out later if you don't like erasing. Then I take my ruler and I line it up with the letter edge that I want to trace, and I push it over till it touches the place it left off, and then I can draw a line down. I do not need to continue because the R covers up the A. I do not need to draw inside because that's pretty much covered by the letter A. So let's try the R. I'm going to draw this one, slide it back a little bit, draw a line, take this one, slide it over, draw the line so it stops right at that R. Then you need to do this again. This is going to slide up. This letter curves, so I'm going to have to draw that curve. This one I'm sliding over. I'm going to draw down. This is the same way. It's going to curve, so I'll slide it up a little bit. But when I get close to the top of the letter, it's going to curve and disappear. I'll help you with those if you have trouble. These will all get erased, the ones that I'm crossing out. The letter T, this one comes up to about here. I'm going to chop it off there, and I can go right across the letter T. Now I'm going to go up. This is going to be even. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to go back. Now you can do this by eye if you can make nice straight lines. All of these lines that I'm Xing will be erased, and I missed a line right there. All right, with the letter S, you can't use your ruler. You just have to take this line and you have to copy it like that, and then I'll take this line and I'll copy it. It's going to disappear behind that one. This is the same thing. It's going to disappear. All of these lines now will get erased. And there's my last line for the letter T. And you can see this would be in shadow, so I'm going to shade this in to make it look darker. So pretend that the light is hitting the letters from the front. So the sides of my letters here will all be darker and in shadow. So with the same right side of the letter, I'm going to shadow it in. Now I would color that a lot neater, of course. All of this is going to get shadowed in. And on the inside of the letter A, that will get shadowed in. Okay? So that will make, I missed a spot. And that will make your letters look like they are three-dimensional.